A few years ago, when I moved back from California to Texas, I was feeling lonely, and I went to this mindfulness retreat which some friends invited me to in Austin. And while we were doing walking meditation outside, we were walking slowly, mindfully, silently, and it started to rain. And I looked around at everyone else. It didn't even bother them. They just kept walking. And that really touched my heart, because when it rains on your parade, it doesn't have to. The rain is your parade. Life is your playground. So enjoy. Walking with friends in mindfulness, as the Dharma rain falls upon our heads, brings a smile to my face and joy to my heart.
Brings a smile to my face and joy to my heart.
As we walk on the path of love, as we walk on the path of love, walking with friends in mindfulness, as the Dharma rain falls upon our heads, brings a smile to my face and joy to my heart.
Brings a smile to my face and joy to my heart.
As we walk on the path of love, as we walk on the path of love, and though the world assail my body, and though its fears assail my mind, in the Sangha I take refuge. Won't you hold my hand and walk with me? Walking with friends in mindfulness, as the Dharma rain falls upon our heads, brings a smile to my face and joy to my heart.
Brings a smile to my face and joy to my heart.
As we walk on the path of love, as we walk on the path of love, walk with me, oh my brother, come and walk with me, oh my sister, take my hand, hold my heart, breathe with me, listen deeply, as we walk on the path of love, as we walk on the path of love, as we walk on the path, as we walk on the path of love.
she's saying, what a beautiful concept. Close your eyes for a moment. Imagine that that's what we're doing right here, right now, this morning. We are walking on the path of love. Imagine that from the moment you popped onto the planet, that's all you've ever been doing is walking on the path of love. Can you feel that? Albert Einstein says the most important question a human being will ever answer is this universe friendly? So I heard that about 6 years ago, and if you've heard me speak before or been in a class, I've shared it a lot. I think it is one of the most profound truths that I've ever heard. It completely changed my life. So when I heard it, I decided that for 40 plus years, my universe had been unfriendly and unkind and unloving. Not completely, but a lot of my experience in my mind had been just that. So I decided to devote the next 43 years to accepting and adopting and believing in the idea that the universe is friendly, that it's kind, and that it's loving. So as we explore life is a playground, I have to tell you I can't get to that concept without believing that the universe is kind, without believing that the universe is loving, without believing that the universe is friendly. Here's the difference. Before that truth resonated with me, a lot of crap was happening to me. But just the invitation from the presenter was just to play with that idea. So I started playing with that idea. Then everything in life has happened for me. Even what is currently happening is happening for me. So it moves me from being a victim into a volunteer. And it moves whatever I thought was icky and funky and crappy into fertilizer for the garden that is my life, right? And I know I'm not alone in that. It's the truth about all of us. So, a couple of things I want to share with you. The first one is, in thinking about that, whenever I decide to speak on a topic, it seems like it's just, ooh, that's a cool thing to talk about. You know, Peter asked you last year. So it's like, oh, that's a cool thing to talk about. Well, I gotta tell you, I'm kind of rethinking the speaker deal, because when you say yes to that, that thing works. At least that's my experience anyway. And so this topic really has been working me for a really long time, since sometime last year, in saying yes to this. But I realized in really spending this week in a lot of contemplation on life as a playground, life is my playground, life is your playground, life is our playground, I had a huge aha. And the huge aha was, I know exactly why all that crappy stuff happened. Not just because it's the fertilizer, but it's like a big old Christmas, years and years of Christmas with gifts, like a big gift, right? That made me who I am. And I know you've heard that before, but here's the deal. Somewhere really, really little, I picked up, I'm not good enough, I'm broken, there's something wrong with me, and I spent, oh my God, years trying to fix me and improve me, and taking all these classes and all these workshops and reading all these books, and still with this really deep sadness that somehow profoundly I was broken. So very young, I decided I wanted to be a coach or a therapist or a counselor or something like that, because I wanted to make sure that you all and anybody and everybody that I met didn't believe that crap about you. That what you actually believe is that you're remarkable, that you are magnificent. And so I decided really young to devote all of my energy to that. If I could do one thing with my life, I could make sure that when I spent time with people, they knew how amazing they were. And whatever this crappy thing that they were having, make lemonade, add sugar. You know, it really is that easy. It's a mental thing is what we know now, right? And then the actions change, but that was the thing. But even in doing that, I still started from a broken place. Because see, I was going to help you see you and still believe that somehow that wasn't true about me, that I was the great exception. But in playing with this idea that life is my playground, wherever I picked up that idea, it was perfect. It was great. It was a gift. And it's a huge gift. Gene Houston says in A Mythic Life that our greatest wound is the world's greatest gift. See, if I didn't buy that, anybody's life who I've touched from birth to now, that wouldn't have happened. Whatever, whether it was a smile or a hug or a prayer or a song, I don't know. I don't know what it was. But I know I've lived in a lot of places all over the world, and so something has touched a lot of people. And it was because of that very fundamental belief that crappy stuff was happening to me and that something was wrong with me, so I was going to make sure you knew that you were perfect, exactly as you are, an unrepeatable miracle, necessary and needed. So here's also where the shift comes. Notice that I said as I contemplated this topic, right? That meant I had to be quiet. And I know that lots of you, I hear you laughing back there, Brian. I thought a lot about this. I was like, really? Did Peter ask me to speak in August when the book is quiet? I bet y'all think, because I do chat a lot, and I'm okay with that. I like it. I actually also am very quiet. If you ask my family, when I leave here today, I probably will not have very much to say. I like to go home and be quiet. It's how I refill. But it is in quiet contemplation where I can hear and recognize that greater truth, that life is love and I am an expression of love. And everything in my life has worked for my good. I may not have mined all of that manure yet, but I've got a whole lifetime to do that, to mine all those crappy experiences for the jewels that they are, and then share them, and so do you. But it's in that recognition, it's in that time of being silent. We do live in a really chatty world, whether it's people talking, or our computers, or our Facebook, and God forbid you have a smartphone, and you stay on it way too long, so many distractions. But it is in that daily connection with life, with love, taking that first walk in the beginning of the morning, that those things that we may have misinterpreted through filters of an unkind, unloving, unsupportive universe may have been roadblocks and obstacles and challenges and problems up until now. But if we take that time each day to become one, to become aware of who we are, to just sit in that for 1 minute, 5 minutes, 10 minutes, 15 minutes, 20 minutes, doesn't matter. It's about the practice of being. Then that beingness informs our doingness. And we don't have to do out here to make up because there's something wrong with us, we're broken, and we have to do all that stuff. There still might be a lot to do. We're called to do that, but we're called to do that because we're so magnificent. We are a conduit for love itself, wanting to share and support, whether it's at work, whether it's at relationship, whether it's at home, I don't know. Do you see? Like, it's the difference between I have to do this to feel better about myself, but if I take the time to be who I really am, then more of that is free to express and impact others. So I came here in 2004, and Reverend Peter gave this talk that said, if you meet the Buddha on the road, kill him. And I was like, don't kill the Buddha. Why did she talk about killing the Buddha? What kind of church is this? Oh my God. And then there was this voice, Alva, simmer down now. So I simmered down, and I wrote for the talk. Can I tell you, I've been here 9 years. That was the most remarkable message I have ever heard in my life. She said, you don't need this church. You don't need a book. You don't need a class. You don't need a workshop. You are perfect exactly as you are. And in that beingness, we can actually experience that perfection. But we have to do the beingness so that we can know that. So that it's not us telling you, you're not reading it from Eckhart Tolle, you're not reading it from Ernest Holmes. Thank God it tells us over and over and over and over again. But at some point, we got to stop getting it from out here and feel it from in here. So it can show up out there. Does that make sense? I thought, this is a church I want to belong to. A minister that's telling me you don't need me, that's telling me you're perfect. And she went on this roll. You know how she can go. Not to say that I can't. But I'm telling you, she went on this roll for 20 minutes of talking about how beautiful and brilliant and magnificent we are, that you are. Nobody had ever said that to me like that before. Nobody had ever said that to me like that before. And in this community, you hear it every single week. But when are you going to start believing it? When are you going to start being it in the world? When are we going to stop letting the bumps and the pitfalls, or it's the season where you have to spray a lot of manure, so it's a little smelly. When are we going to stop letting that impede our peace? Impede our joy, impede our fulfillment, impede our worthiness. People say, I don't feel worthy. Okay, I'm going to be a little Dr. Phil here. How's that working for you? When are you going to feel worthy? Do you want to know why you don't feel worthy? Because you don't believe that you are the ancient wisdom of the universe made manifest. Well, I can't do anything about that. I can tell you, I pray about it every day. For every person on the planet to know that. I know I'm not the only one. Lots of traditions do that. But we can only offer you the information. We can water the seed, but you got to plant it. You got to give it roots. That's in your beingness, and then in your doingness, because then you go out and you say, wait a minute, I'm a powerful expression of divine presence. This is how I show up at work. And so are these people. And you know what? I know what it feels like not to know that that's true about me. So I'm going to hold that space and know that for them. That's what this community does. That's what practitioners do. That's what prayer partners do. That's what Sangha groups do. That's what all of these teachers are telling us. They're telling us who we are. So we have to be in who we are, and then we have to do who we are in the world. There's a minister in a community in New Mexico, and he says, I'm going to do whatever it takes for as long as it takes. How many of us hear this message? And please don't raise your hand, I'm not calling you out. I'm really just telling on myself, but I don't want to feel alone up here. So I'm lumping y'all in with me. But how many of y'all say, well, I took that class, and I did all the homework, and you know, some days I felt a little better about myself, and other days, my boss, he's really still a jerk. You know? So we practiced for 8 weeks. Okay, really? Everybody in this room is a grown-up. We've been believing in jerks way longer than we've been believing in people that are brilliant, right? So it might take a little longer than an 8 or 10 week class to know who our coworkers are, who our partners are, who our children are, who our parents are, who our politicians are. And I really can't know who you are if I won't spend time knowing who I am. That's the deal. We can love each other and pray for each other, and it is impactful, and it is important. But people, it is most important that you do it for yourself. I came across a quote on Miss Google, because I love her so much. And it says, your life is more important than anything. It is your God-given right to expect and receive happiness. Let me say that to you again. Your life is more important than anything. It is your God-given right to expect and receive happiness. Now, I don't know about you, but if I'm hungry and my son eats, that doesn't do anything for my hunger. So I have to do what is mine to do so that I know that it's my God-given right, so that I know when I'm standing in the line of unemployment that employment is mine. So when I know that I'm lonely and I want this partnership and that partner is here, I can expect to receive it. But I can't expect to receive it with hit or miss practice, with hit or miss mindfulness, with hit or miss communion with the beloved, with hit or miss studying my truth, with hit or miss showing up. I'm going to show up peace over here, but I'm going to lose my peace right here. And it's no shame, no blame. It's about doing whatever it takes for as long as it takes until we know that we know that we know. Do you know what that means? That's like it's bypassed the intellect, and it is now the way you show up in the world. It is now the way you live your life. People stand up here and say that because it's possible. Not only possible, not only probable, it's inevitable with our attention and our corresponding action. So I was thinking about, as a practitioner, yes, we have lots of people that come to us to grow their good. And actually, I think when somebody comes to me and something's not good, actually you're still asking to grow your good, right? But I was thinking, lots of people have lots of stuff going on right now. And that's probably always been the way that it is. And I'm remembering our beloved Tracy Brown came to see me in a really dark moment, and she brought this CD, and it was Reverend Michael. And it was this wonderful message. But the thing that really, really, really impacted me, and still I feel informs me beginning to live my life, is it's my playground, and being grateful for all of it. And if I fall off of one ride or one swing or one monkey bars, to get back up and get back on. There was this ditty by Reverend Michael. One of his community members took one of his Sunday talks, or a snippet of his talk, and they put it to music, right? And this one is called An Adventure in Paradise. And I was listening to it when I was with myself, and I still listen to it. And I cry at this one point every single time. And there's this line, and he says, and guess what? I'm taking you with me. So here's how that hit me. Usually when something's crappy, I'm not taking God with me. I'm all in the, I'm small, I can't do it, I don't know, I don't want to ask for help, all that stuff. Well, I can't get out of there if I stay there, if I forget to take God with me. And it is waiting. It can only do for me what it can do through me. It's waiting for me to recognize it's right here. It's right here. And more is right there, and right there, and right there, and right there, and right there. But I gotta be quiet. I gotta sit. I gotta talk to my higher power. And then I gotta listen, so that I can do from that place whatever is in front of me. So everybody's played on a playground at least once, right? Okay. So, have you also fallen off of something? Did you never go back to the playground again? Okay, so people, just because we're grown-ups and the relationship didn't work out, or this job didn't work out, or this exercise plan you started and you stopped, or whatever the thing is, right? Guess what? It's just like falling down at the playground. You dust yourself off. You go get a Band-Aid if you know, some of us, we're like, don't want to stop playing long enough to get a Band-Aid, right? But you put the Band-Aid on, right? And you keep moving. You don't say, oh, I suck, I'm terrible at playing on the playground, I just can't do it, I don't know how to play. Okay, mother, I'm going to stay inside the house forever. No, nobody in this room said that, right? So we don't get to say that now. Everything in our life is part of our playground. And if you will join me and adopt just for a while and see where it takes you, that you live in a friendly universe that loves you and supports you and is waiting for you to recognize that it supports you. Now, you might not see the way, but that's okay. What you do know is that you live in an infinitely intelligent universe, and if you ask it a question, it has to respond. Because it certainly responds when we say, this is probably not going to work out. I'm sure this isn't going to work out. I'm sure another bill's going to come. I'm sure, right? It answers you. Okay, so I'm just adjusting people. I know y'all are smarter than me. Let's point that in the direction where we want it, right? So I got to do my beingness to inform my doingness. And what's the result? I have more love. I have more peace. I have more friends. I have more opportunities to connect. I have more opportunities to share my life more. I have more freedom. I have more travel. I have more, whatever your more is. Sometimes we think we have to do and have, and then I'll be happy. It doesn't work that way. Because you'll always be waiting for the conditions to be perfect. But here's what I want to offer you. If you look at your life as an adventure in paradise with Spirit, then the job is to be so that you can do inspired action and have. And guess what? When you have, you won't be exhausted. How many times have you worked yourself to the bone and then by the time you go show, you were too tired to enjoy it? I remember having this amazing job, making super duper good money, and all I could do when I got home from work was sleep. I didn't want to talk to my kids. I didn't want to talk to them. I just gave them my bank card. Take them wherever they want to go. Just please don't talk to me. I was so exhausted. Whereas if you spend that time anchoring your life in, this is my playground, this relationship is I don't know what they call them at the playground anymore. Like, are they rides? Whatever they are. Like, there's the monkey bars, and there's a swing, and there's that thing you spin around, and if somebody spins you too hard, you hold on, you go flying off into the and you go back and you go, hey, don't go so fast. But then you get right back on and ride it again, right? Same thing with our life. Same thing. We don't give up on relationships. I mean, you know, I'm sure y'all don't do this. But, you know, sometimes you know a person in your life that might say, I just can't trust people, so I'm just going to be content to be myself. Somebody said that to me the other day. I'm not really looking for a relationship. I said, you are flat out not lying. You do want to be in a relationship. Good grief. Nobody wants to be alone. I'm not saying like being in our own company, there's nothing wrong with enjoying that. Don't get me wrong, because this sister likes her own time. However, we are wired to walk this path of love together. Notice, you can't go to the grocery store and get in there without talking to somebody, right? And what would you get in the grocery store if we weren't walking this path together? There would be no food. There would be no building. There would be no gas station. There would be no bank. Should I keep going? You already found that point? We're here to do this thing together. So if I spend time being, not only do I know who I am, I know who you are. And I can be that for you. And as the more I'm that for you, while being that first for myself, I'm affecting life everywhere. So life is a playground. I was looking at playground and it said a sphere of activity. Can we just all agree that this world is a sphere of activity? Okay, so even if you don't believe me, life is a playground, it is. We are living in a playground. But are you having fun? Play says it's drama or performance and a whole bunch of other stuff, fun and zest as opposed to seriousness. We get so serious as grown-ups. We get so serious we forget to meditate. Okay, we are awake, most of us, at least 16 hours out of a 24-hour day. I think if I missed it before I left the house, there's got to be 2 to 5 minutes somewhere where I can sit somewhere and just be still. I forgot to say my prayers. Really, we spend a lot of time in the car. I love praying in my car. Without, you know what I mean? There's lots of time. I'm not saying don't have a dedicated spiritual practice. What I'm telling you is there are so many minutes throughout the day to connect with the infinite as you, and then that changes our attitude, right? And then I can have a different experience. What if I am at work and I'm having a difficult experience with my boss? Oh, hold on, I know what to do. I'm going to go to the ladies' room, the men's room. I'm going to breathe for 2 minutes. When I walk down this hall, I'm on an adventure in paradise. This is my playground, and I'm in charge. Because I know who I am. And that, don't you think that's going to inform your experience with that individual? Mother Teresa, Gandhi, so many say, it only takes one clear person. I know, mamas know that, right? When you're like all screeching at your kids, they are not cooperating. Right? So it's only when we go, that's it, I'm just not going to talk anymore. And that lasts for about 5 minutes, maybe sometimes 10 or 15, depending on how old. Right? But you take a minute to breathe, to collect yourself, because you realize these little people are dependent on you. Whatever that thing is, we can't escape being. So I offer you, it's not do, so I can have and then be happy. I'll do this, so I can have this, and then I'll be excited. And then I'll be able to rest, and then I'll be able to relax, and then I'll be able to trust, and then I'll be able to, whatever that is. It's the other, to enjoy it. And I offer you, there was lots of recognition in the room about playgrounds, so we all know how to play. Jesus said, become as a little child, right? You know what he meant? Little kids don't hang on to stuff forever and ever. So-and-so makes them mad, hurts their feelings, even hits them. They're done with it. They might not talk to them for a day, but usually not most children I know. They're like playing with them like 10 or 15 minutes later, right? And then they're back playing with them again. Okay, so for those of us that had funky, crappy stuff growing up, that's done. That has fertilized your life. And you are magnificent. Right here, right now, you're beautiful. How many of you actually spend time, and I'm going to ask you to raise your hand, because I don't want to call you out, but how much time do you spend a day telling yourself you're beautiful, that you're magnificent, that you're wonderful, that you're talented, beyond measure? I spent like 15 minutes with a friend on Friday, and man, she criticized herself so many times, I don't even know how many. I said, hold up, can you say anything nice about yourself? And she was like, that's so hard. I said, I'm waiting. And she looked at me, she goes, you can't be serious. I said, I'm dead serious. If we're going to be together, if we're going to hang out together, you cannot talk to my friend like that. You could do that at home, and I would invite you not to. But for every mean thing you say to me about you, you have to say 2 nice things. I have to help her eventually, but you know, that's cool. We're working on that. But how are you going to feel like life is your playground, life is your oyster, if you're beating up on yourself? And then you don't spend time with love transforming your vision, transforming the experience, saying, oh, I'm here. That's good. That's great. You know what? A little wisdom is called for here. A little strength. Oh, a little peace. Some truth, some light, some clarity. Somebody said it so beautifully this morning in the class. As I notice what I'm experiencing, and I become still, clarity ensues. And so if we decide to focus on life as our playground, because that's what I do in my meditations. I like to do contemplative. You focus on an idea or a concept, and then you just leave some space in there to listen. Then I'm able to see where that's already showing up in my life, or where I'm called to be that, or do that. You are so much more than you are already experiencing. To play with this concept that life is your playground. I invite you to play with that this week. I invite you to be so determined that you're going to see it as your playground, that you're going to remember how much fun that was, and you're going to bring some of that fun and that zest into your life right where you are, into your work. It doesn't usually take a lot. I don't know, I like colors, so I wear sparkly nail polish. You know, that kind of stuff just makes me smile. But you bring that fun and zest, like right where you are. It's not just going to show up and knock on your door. At least it didn't knock on mine. I have to bring myself to it. I have to bring it to where I am so that I can have more of that experience. So not only am I inviting you to play with that concept that life is your playground, I'm inviting you to demand it, to expect it unwaveringly, to do whatever it takes after you spend time in your beingness. And as my prayer partner said, I'm inviting you today to give up the good life you have for the great life that's awaiting you. That's what playing on the playground is, right? You don't just stay on the slide. You play on lots of the, I'm going to call them rides because I don't know what they're called, but that's okay. Right? That's the opportunity we have in an argument, in whatever. Give up what we think we know. Take that adventure with spirit, because that's the only thing I know that transforms dark into light, and chaos into clarity. And step into life. Play, dance into life. Anybody in the room up from a play in their life?
Yes.
All right. Let's be about some constructive play. Some play that's beneficial to us, because as it's beneficial to us, it's beneficial to others. Let us pray. I'm so grateful for that amazing reminder that good is my divine birthright. Good is each person's divine birthright. Good is the nature of the universe. Emma Chris Hopkins says, my God is my good and my good is my God. And I believe her. And because I believe her, I know that everything that has ever happened in any person's life in this room, no matter how tragic, no matter how hurtful, no matter how horrific, good has to come of it. It simply can be no other way. But I know that that good cannot be experienced unless I and we recognize it. So I ask you to allow my words to be your words, and I recognize all of that ick as beauty, as love, as peace, as prosperity, as power, as joy, as light, as health, as strength, as courage, as wisdom. And most importantly, I recognize that because that is the truth of who each person is, all things are possible. And we haven't seen anything yet. No matter what age we are, so much more is yet to come. And I am so grateful to know this truth. I'm so grateful that because I say yes, I'm saying yes for everybody in this room. And everybody that hears or watches this talk. And I know that more love is experienced, more love is expressed, life is lifted. Hurts and wounds are healed and released. Because we can't play and hang on to the past. And I believe that our eyes are in front so we can see in the forward direction, so we can move forward and let go of what is behind us. It has informed us beautifully from this moment on. I also affirm and declare that from this moment on, each person in this room now takes time to be, to listen, and allow our doingness to be informed by that beingness of ultimate love and infinite wisdom. And in so, we have so much more to be grateful for than to be sorry for. So much more to enjoy, so much more love to give and receive, so much more peace to be experienced, so much more happiness. We haven't even touched the tip of the iceberg. I'm so grateful for this beloved community and this opportunity to speak and know and claim and accept and receive truth. And lastly, I'm grateful for all of these, my partners on this adventure in paradise with the divine. Because I know that we have been transformed right here and right now, and the sky's the limit. I call it perfect, I call it beautiful, I call it done. We accept it as so together by saying, and so it is.
Amen.